opportunity this wonderful time. Just to respect our privacies, we are going to be recording this session for purely future use and nothing more. We apologize. We are starting in between time. We realized at some point that there was some form of miscommunication while the flyer had 7 p.m., the Zoom link typed out had 8 p.m. So we are still aware that some people will be joining in between the presentation. But I want to welcome all of us. You're welcome to unmute yourself at this time. Unmute your videos at this time if you want us to see your faces, because at some point that will be very, very important. Today, we are coming and reaching out to you on the platform of the Golden Mavis Path Academy and class resources. Golden Mavis Path Academy is an online academy that is engaged in training and retraining and certification of different and all forms of certifications that are required for lifelong living and meaningful engagement. Class resources primarily provides consultancy services and legal advice on things that you want to do. So today we are coming to you to discuss pathways for professional migration. Pathways to professional migration. And as you can see at my background, we have a disclaimer saying that we are not a visa issuing body. We are not an agency that guarantees you visa. However, the speakers we have on the bill tonight are proven individuals of integrity, and each of the speakers we have tonight are people that have gone through the migration route. Right, they've gone through these routes and they have success stories, not just for themselves, but for several people. So primarily, we are going to be coming across to you just to share general information. And as we share the general information, as we progress and proceed, you're more than welcome to ask your questions, type your questions in the chat box. In addition, I also need to add this, that if you are to benefit from what we are having today, you have to have a very open mind. You have to have a very critical mind to be able to explore information going forward. Because we understand that out there, if you go on YouTube, you see several videos, people making different claims and saying a lot of things. A lot of people have been scammed. And what we have today also is to tell you that you're going to be listening to people that have integrity. Myself, I'm a lawyer. I'm an associate professor of law, and I have succeeded and successfully gone through this migration route by taking information from very valuable persons and following it precept upon precept, line upon line, dot upon line. And I can tell you that if you are really keen on this path and you follow at each point the information you're going to be receiving with God on your side, if you desire to emigrate, that would be possible in the long run. Another caveat is to let us know that there is no magic wand to what we are talking about today. So if you're looking for somebody that will tell you, oh, come on board today and tomorrow I'm going to give you a passport and a visa and you're going to fly to wherever, this is the wrong room. This is a room where we'll take you through the proper channel, We take you through the proper procedure for you to be happy at the end of it all. It may tarry, it may take a while, but at the end, I can tell you, you will be happy. Like I said, I'm a sausage story. Today, a resident, I have a permanent residency of Canada. My family is based in Canada, but as a professor of law in Nigeria, I'm still here, shuttling in between the two axes. Yeah, but giving yourself options is just what matters in this case, you know. So I'm going to be starting off and calling our first speaker tonight, who is Mrs. Bola Ijabwemi. Bola Ijabwemi is an accountant in the first instance by training, and presently she's a very established nurse in the UK. She went through this process and she successfully settled in the UK with her family. And I am aware that she has also been a source and channel for different persons to also access UK. After Bola, we are going to be having Dr. Ejike Ewim speak to us. Ejike is a mechanical engineer, holds a PhD from University of Pretoria in South Africa, and currently lives in Ohio State in America. Ejike went through the migration process and he is successful. So we are individuals that have taken time to explore the options available, and we all have success stories. And why we decided to do this is that because each day we find out that we spend so much time taking people's calls, trying to explain processes to people. It's not an easy task. It's engaging, it's money taking. But if you have proper guidance, at the end of the day, you will be happy you did. So I will hand over the floor to Bola to speak to us for about 10 minutes, and then we can open up, take HK, and then we can open up for questions and answers. Mrs. Ijabwemi, please.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Like having introduced, this is Bola Ijabwemi. I'm speaking to you all from the UK. It's a privilege meeting you all and on this platform to share a bit of my experience and knowledge about how we can emigrate as professionals into the UK. By the grace of God, as rightly said, I was an accountant before I came to the UK, and reaching here, I trained to be a nurse. And by the grace of God, we have helped a couple of people to migrate to the UK as well. You know, been to Nigeria, been to other places to give information, which we are sharing today. For those who are seeking for greener pasture. The information I'm going to share today are things that we can all find if we do enough searching. Like Professor Azupike already mentioned, that if anyone after this meeting is interested in engaging to know more and do more, then we can engage with them to help them on this success journey to emigrate as professionals out of wherever country you are to wherever country you want to go. By the grace of God, we have professionals in the house who will be talking to us. I am based in the UK. We have someone from America, from Netherlands, and Professor Azubike will tell us more about Canada. So, and we all know about the American side of things as well. To come to the UK, there is a lot of ways. You can come in as a student on tier 4 visa. You can come in as a professional on tier 2 visa, which is the most common information that people can get for now, coming in to work as a professional. There are a couple of jobs in the UK at the minute that attract the working class, skilled worker visa. and by the grace of God, it's ongoing because the market is still there for anyone that is interested. Unfortunately, some people have gone through some agencies that have ripped them off of money, ripped them off of properties, and have not achieved any results. But I can promise you today, we're not travel agents, but we have information that could move you from where you are to where you want to be. And we are trustworthy. We're reliable. If it's not going to work, we're not going to deceive you. We will ask for the right document that you will require to process all your documents and all your information. And by the grace of God, like I said earlier, we are not a travel agent. We are just sharing information. We are sharing knowledge and our experience of how we got to where we are from where we used to be. Thing is, I've seen people who don't even have their first degree and have emigrated. I've seen people who have BSc, MSc, and PhD and have emigrated. So it's an open market for all, because fortunately, back in the days, the UK skilled visa used to attract people in the IT, the industry, in the nursing industry. But after the COVID pandemic, there's been a lot of other professionals, including chefs, who have been allowed to come into the country and work on a tier 2 visa, the skilled worker visa, which they will give you either 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. And by the time you finish your visa, they can be renewed. We can work with you every step of the way and guide you on how to move from one to another. We've seen people come in with the COS, which is the certificate of sponsorship, to come and work in the UK. And when they get here, they are stranded because some of these companies are not reliable. But we help them, we navigate them through to get more from here than just what they came here to do. For those who want to come in, we are here to help. For those who are already in the country and wants to move from one job to another, or move from one work area, industry of work to another, the information, the guidance are all there. And I can assure you, we also have people who can tell you their story of how we have helped them achieve this purpose as well. Where there is a will, there is a way. Impossible is nothing. Anyone can do it. I've told you that people who don't even have a first degree, we've helped them. And God has allowed us to move things forward for them as well. So don't think because you don't have a particular set of skills that you will not be eligible. There is a lot that can be achieved if you put your mind in it and you're willing to pay the sacrifice, because nothing comes free. I can assure you. You can't just, after this conversation, you're not gonna just jump on the plane to start traveling. No, you have to follow a process. You have to follow the routine, the protocols, and we have to follow the rules of the land where we are. As in the UK, I'm vast with a lot of agencies. I'm vast with a lot of employers who are looking to recruit. So if anyone is interested in this Japa business, be my guest. I'm here. I've done this for free. I've come to Nigeria to organize these seminars in hotels, in School of Nursing, Ondo State, Osun State, Kwara State, Lagos State, Oyo State, all around, all for free. And I'm based in the UK, and I come to Nigeria to do that regularly as well. So, I mean, and we've had success stories of people that has been through the system, and are also bringing others, sharing their testimonies and experiences. So please don't be shy. Reach out to us after this conversation. If you are interested, please let us know, so we know we can take it from where you are to where you want to be. It doesn't have to be the UK. You might want to go to Canada. You might want to go to America. You might want to go to Netherlands or anywhere else. If we have information that you need to get to where you're going, definitely we'll guide you. We signpost you into the right directions. The information we have is vital, and you know, a lot of people miss the way because they don't have the information to get them to where they want to go. So please, after this meeting, I'll be available. All of us who will be speaking today will be available. Will be your guide if you allow us, and hopefully before middle of the year, you might find yourself where you want to be. Because sometimes this COS, I had someone that interviewed on Friday as healthcare assistant on tier 2, was interviewed last Friday, and the COS will be out this week or coming week. So after Easter, roughly, if they have the money for their ticket, they should be in the UK. These things don't take long sometimes, you know. Depending if all your documents are available, you have your international passport, and you are ready to walk it with us. Come through this journey with us. And hopefully, I'm hoping that you will be able to have a look back on today and say, yeah, thank God I attended this seminar and I acted on it. So don't just sit on information when you get them. Act on them so that, you know, nothing's going to change if you don't move it. So it's time to move. And if you're really interested and you have joined this platform, please, when we finish here, let's meet again so that we can help you. Because everyone is individual. We can't give every information on this platform because we have a short time and everybody is individual. We have to treat you as an individual from what you have to where you're going. I will still be open for more questions. If anyone have anything specifically for UK based, or those who want to come to London, want to come and see us here, we want to see the king. We have a king now, not a queen. So if you want to see the king, please be my guest. We go to the Buckingham Palace, and yeah, all the way. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Sidebwemi. And that is as real as it can be. Remember, I flagged the point that sometimes it is quick, sometimes it is slow. But the most important thing is that you're genuine and you're not going to find yourself running from frying pan to fire. I'm going to call on the next speaker for the evening, Dr. Raphael Daniel Ewim. Like I already said, it's a trained mechanical engineer with a PhD from the University of Pretoria. Currently, he is based at the Ohio State University. So Dr. Ewim is a scientist of repute, doing great things, and he's going to be speaking to us also on his experiences and a couple of things. Dr. Raphael Ewim, you have the floor, please.
All right. Hi, guys. Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Hi, good evening. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
All right,
can hear you.
I would like to give you a very small background about myself. I was born in Eko, and I went to school in Lagos before I now moved to Futo, from Futo to Makurdi, and from there I went to South Africa. And after my PhD, I did my postdoc in South Africa, and I taught there for almost 2 years. In fact, at the end of this year, I'm due to become a professor, but I left all that, to chase my dreams of going down to the US. And based on my route, I used a route called the EB2 route. So I was able to show the US government that based on my skills, my PhD, and my interest, that my skills are in the US intrinsic interests. That is the word, US intrinsic interest. And what are those interests? Healthcare, engineering, STEM, social work, So I was able to bring down, put up a portfolio of evidence, highlighting my skills. I wrote a 30-page petition, 12,000 words, to prove that my skills are in the long-term US interest. And based on that, after 4 months, I was approved. And right now I'm in the US with my 3 girls and my wife, you know. So for me, this is a blessing. You are coming to the US with your straight green card, you know. I know people that have sold their houses just to get a you know, just to visit, but you're coming to the US with your straight green card. The day you step foot in the US, you activate your green card. Mind you, this program is meant for people that have a first degree and 5 years of progressive work experience. But what is the problem? The problem is that how can you prove experience with just the first degree? How can you prove it to someone? So that's why people like us that have advanced degrees, based on our papers, our citations, our conferences, our awards, you know, are able, of course, again, community engagement is also very, very important in some cases. So how can you, as it were, you know, prove your skills with just a first degree? But by the letter, this program admits a first degree. And for example, if in your place of work, you've built a robot that can solve problems, or you have something that is groundbreaking, of course, yes, but you know, that's why, for example, people like us that have advanced degrees, like I said, with some experience doing good research, are able to convince the US government. So the program is in 2 phases. The first phase is what they call petition phase. Once you write your petition, within 3 months to 6 months, they get back to you. It's either you are approved or RFE. RFE means request for further evidence. The US government won't tell you no. They are very, very sensible. They will tell you, Mr. ABC, based on what you've shown us, can you provide more evidence in these areas? Then you now sit back, you know, and decide what was missing in my first application. Then you fix that. One of my friends paid a lawyer over $5,000, but he got an RFE. But so far so good. Everybody I've helped, you know, by God's grace, you know, has got it straight up, you know, without any RFE. So I would like you to be in touch, you know, if you want to learn more about this program. It's called the EB2. EB means employment-based to NIW. So basically, they waive the labor, they waive the job. You know, that means with this program, there's no need for what a job offer, because your skills are exceptional. You know, currently, I have a girl I'm trying to help. You know, this girl has about 5 papers, right? But I was like, come, what happened to your MSc thesis? Can we get 2 papers out of it? And based on my mentorship, in the past 2 months, we've sent out 2 papers to boost her profile so that she gets a better chance of being accepted, you know. So that's a very, I don't know if you have any questions, but that's a very, very short background about the program. And I will tell you, there are jobs in the US. Just today, I've gotten 5 phone calls. Amazon, Google, they are begging me, but I just want to relax and see what's best for me, you know. So there are jobs in the US. There's no unemployment in the US. Everybody is recruiting. It depends on where you want to carve your niche, you know, and of course, how to build a work that gives you the work-life balance. It is very, very key in the US. How do you get a job that gives you the work-life balance? Because you get paid well, but they will suck all the money they pay from you. So how do you get a job that, you know, that is in sync with your because for me, family is key, right? So how do you get a job that takes, you know, that your kids are well, you know, the kids have the proper care of a parent. So that's all about the US. Thank you. So I don't know if you have any things to ask me. I'm very happy to you know, yeah, answer.
Thank you, Dr. Ewim, for that wonderful presentation. And again, I speak to us from the perspective again of the lawyer in the mix. because something that is important is that you go through a route that doesn't get you into trouble. You would have seen that our flyer says immigrate. We are not getting people to pass through the Sahara Desert. We are not getting people to pass through the very rough terrains. We are getting people to painstakingly, I re-emphasize the word painstakingly. You're in the sciences, you're in the social works, the things you have even done in your churches, the things you have done for other organizations around you could actually be very valuable experiences that we can help you to put together. As little as getting your CV well organized and showcasing your strength and your skills. And like Ejike Daniel told you right away, it's an application that you make, it's a petition you make to the US government. We help you put these things together and you apply. We are not guaranteeing you that your application will be successful, but at least we are helping you package an application that can stand a chance. So it's just like preparing for an examination. When you have studied and you have read, you do tutorials, you're prepared, you're confident in yourself. And remember basically that the horse is prepared unto the day of battle, but victory comes from the Lord. When I did my own process, I basically, yeah, we are, Folashade, I see your question. We are going to come back to all of that. I basically sat down and I examined the processes and I launched into it step by step. I followed through as a lawyer, and with God helping me, it went through. COVID came in between, stalled our process. And during the time COVID stalled our process, I had the biggest temptation of my life. And what was that temptation? My financial proof that was locked in the bank. I got an offer from the bank telling me, oh, okay, you've kept this money, we can give you a little of it. It still remains part of your money. This happens, this happens. And I had people tell me, oh, yeah, nobody checks, nobody does this. You can take your money, you can take part of it, you can do this, you can go and put it back. We are Nigerians, we are smart, right? Positively smart. But after looking, in fact, I was already in the bank. At the very last minute, I was in the bank. Somebody is entering now. I will recognize her. She will be speaking to us at some point. She's entering from Canada, a very strong immigration consultant. In fact, she was on my case. We walked through my case at every point in time. A few days ago, I was speaking to somebody and the person was like, oh, why am I going to commit some money to this? What are you doing for me? The person that just entered this room, I will tell you, one midnight at about 1 a.m., I was lying beside my wife, I see my president here, Engineer Walter here. I was lying beside my wife, getting ready to go to sleep. And my phone rang. I looked at it and it was her. My wife said, who is calling? I said, oh, it's my friend. She's calling from Canada. She said, oh, okay. And I picked it and she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm asleep. I'm about sleeping. Say, you must stand up now. You must stand up now. Take your computer, go and do this. And that was how I jumped up, picked up my laptop, and did what I was asked to do. Information is key in all of this. And within 1 week, I got my first offer to move to Canada, and I started following through. Now, and that process of, I was already in the bank, I was ready to sign and take some money, but somehow something just struck me. I told the account officer, I said, no, sorry, I can't deal with this. And I stepped out. Some other guy that was in the same process took out about 100,000 naira from his money. In 2 days, he got a rejection letter from the Canadian government saying, oh, and how do they find out? So there is a lot of things that you would have heard. And unfortunately, quite a number of people decide to go the route that quite a number of people decide to go the route that will get their fingers burnt. But here, what we are providing for you is current, adequate, and apt information. In Canada, if you're a lawyer in here, you can even start writing, and that was the mistake I made, because if I had known of this information, you can stay in Nigeria and start writing your bar qualifying exams, so that by the time you're done with the process, and it is very simple, all you need is, these guys have advanced. You do your exams on your computer, a proctor is assigned to you, you sit down, you write your qualifying exams, you are assessed. After your assessment, you're given the number of courses you would write. And when you write them and you pass, my friend, you're licensed to practice in Canada. You can now, based on that, make your move. So within 1 year that you're thinking and you're hoping to give somebody money to do this for you, you can actually decide to sit down and begin to read and write your qualifying exams. In Canada, there are several other routes that we use to migrate. We've talked about
Please just
the
give me a minute.
student route. We've talked about the student route, which is a well-confirmed route. We help you look at the university you're applying to, the college you're applying to, what do you fill in, how do you package your documents, where you need to get an affidavit to support what you're doing. Because all of this basis, like Wim told you, it's basically documentary. The US government, the Canadian government, no, the UK government is not going to call you to see you. It is what you put on paper, how well you are able to organize your papers and send it in to them is what sees you through. Okay, so I also have somebody in here. I have Joy. Joy Onwubiko is also someone who she's a very senior nurse. She also very recently went through this process, and she's currently in the UK. So before we begin to take questions and answers, I would want to ask Jumoke and Joy, I would want to give you the platform. If you want to say anything, please unmute yourself and say something to our participants tonight.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Jumoke, and I'm an immigration consultant here, and also a lawyer here. So, and we've been doing this for a long time, for quite some time. I started with a law firm here in Mississauga. She was my lecturer while I was in school with my immigration consultant. And then from there, right now, with one of my senior colleagues from the University of Lorraine. So he was my senior in Lorraine, and then he's now here in Canada. He's in British Columbia. So we work together. So we do all kind of visa processing, students, excellence entry, and all that. And we have amazing track record of success stories. And you're always welcome through Mr. Azubike if you have any questions, and we'll take it from there. We are always here to help, like we said. So it's all about and it's not one size fit all. Your story is different, and because your story is different, the program that is going to be recommended for you will also be different, and we'll walk you through it throughout your program, whichever one that you decide to go with. We'll work together with you, and we're passionate about your situation. We'll be passionate about your situation to make sure that you leave Nigeria at the time you want to leave Nigeria successfully. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Like I already said here, part of Jumoke's success story is the person speaking to you today. So if you're looking for a success story and a testimony of what she's been able to do, when we started putting this together, I got in touch with her. I said, Chumi, listen, you have to be here. Jumi has a wealth of experience. She's been in Canada. Interestingly, she was my junior in the university. So it's important, if you have broken fences along the line coming up to this stage, you might just have to go back and mend those fences, because you never can tell, so you never can tell. So now we are going to open up to questions. And okay, Joy, I see Joy posted something. Joy, do you want to speak to us? Joy Onwubiko, yeah, do you want to speak to us? Hello, Joy. I see she posted. Okay, yeah, maybe she's hooked up where she is. So I'll open the floor to questions. If you want to ask a questions, please just use the emoji button and then raise your hand, and then we take your question. If you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand and then we take your question. Yes, Folashade, please, you have the floor.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mr. Zibiki, thank you so much. Sorry, my prof. I really appreciate you for organizing this program. Please, my question is the immigration process mainly for those on the healthcare line, the engineering line, those in the lecturing line? So I just wanted to clear the hair about.
Okay, thank you.
Regarding this immigration I'll be talking about, sir.
Okay, so all right, I get your question. Bola, did you want to take the response to this, or Daniel?
Yes. So, basically, for the US, right? There's what we call EB1 to EB5, like for right, visas, right? EB1 and EB5 visas. So the EB1 is for people with exceptional skills, maybe inventors or like that. For the EB2, what you need from the book is a first degree and 5 years of work experience. But there comes the problem. How can you prove work experience? That's why people like us that have MSc and PhDs now have a higher advantage, because our papers can now stand as the proof of our skills, That's it. Now again, there's what, so in that EB2, now, okay. For example, I was approached last week by a banker, right? This banker has 13 years of good work experience. But I was saying, come, I would like for you to have a paper or two to boost your profile so that we have a high success rate. She finished her MBA in 2021. So by God's grace, I was able to now package the work to help her get like 2 papers, and they're currently under peer review. Once I now realize that this girl has a good work experience plus what? Research, then for me, that will make my time, because for me, I don't want to waste my time and waste your time. So I like to win and win always. So I prepare people for what? Success. This program in the US, for the EB2 now, it covers everybody in the science, art, and business. Last, I helped a girl recently, only 10 papers, and she got it in 3 months. All her friends are now bombarding my phone. All her people from her village are now on my WhatsApp begging me to help her. So the thing is, for the EB2 visa in the US, the minimum is a first degree and 5 years of progressive work experience. But how can you prove your case? That's why people with advanced degrees now have a higher chance of what? Of success. You see the difference? That is where we come. Again, there's what we call the EB3 visa. For the EB3, is for people that have skills, like Baba or whatever. But again, how can you prove that you are the only one that can barb hair more than the people in the world, in the US? But it is very, very possible. Of course, there's what we call EB5, that's investment visas, whereby if you have over 500,000 bucks, dollars, you can now also apply. So yes, so that's the different categories.
Okay, thanks so much, sir. Sorry, sir. Like me, I'm a civil servant. So I've been working for 11 years. I have my first degree, then I have my master's too.
What was your master's in?
Public administration and management.
Okay, what was your master's thesis?
Sir?
What was your master's thesis on?
Hello?
What was your master's work on? Your master's thesis, what was it on?
Okay, she seems not to be hearing us, but for Lashade, what I can tell you is that one of the stories Daniel is sharing is also somebody who is in that line. So it's possible, We are going to push on. I see Joy, her hands are up.
Good evening.
We are going to get back when we start it through and give you more information. Joy, please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening. Please, can you hear me? Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can hear you. If you're in a position to unmute yourself, it would be nice to see your face.
There's no power where I am now, so I'm sorry about that. It's quite dark. So I'm sorry about that. But I want to start by saying that I sincerely thank you for this eye-opening event. I've gotten one or two things, even from this short period that speakers have spoken, and I've been lifted in my spirit. I've asked my questions in the chat, but again, I'll ask them now since I've been given an opportunity to talk. My first question is to Mrs. Ijaudola, and it's just to ask her about the healthcare visa routes in the UK. It's something that became popular after the COVID, and a lot of people are going through the route, especially because some have said that you don't need a lot of experience and you can switch careers to get the visa. I just want to ask her opinion about that and what one can do, especially if you are willing to switch to healthcare, considering the fact that you don't have a healthcare background. That's the first question. Then the second question is to Dr. Ewim. For some of us, we only have our first degree. So my question is, the route is talking about in the US, that's the EB2 route, if I'm correct. I don't know if I'm correct about that. Is it only for those in the academics, or those who are not in the academics too can take advantage of that route? Thank you.
What we'll do is, Daniel and Bola, you could just note the questions. We have Walt T and then Adiaga will take these two questions and then we can respond to them. Walt T, you have the floor, please. And by the way, Walt T, it's a very senior engineer also. He's the president of my class set. I'm recognizing him specially, the president of the Dennis Memorial Grammar School class of 1994. So we are a group of reputable men that went to the only grammar school in Nigeria. Don't mind me, I'm just blushing. Walter, please, you have the floor.
Yeah, Prof. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, Prof. I mean, apart from the fact that we are in the same class, all right, I know your personality is at stake, okay? And if not for any other thing, it's your personality that, apart from the fact, okay, that we're in the same class, even if we were never in the same class, your personality alone is enough to make me want to be part of this conversation, all right? So I needed to mention that also here, okay? You invited me just like you invited every other person, okay? So I needed to make that known before I go ahead with my question, all right? Now, what I wanted to ask, for just like Dr. Egwim stated earlier in his submission, was it that difficult? Is it that difficult to prove work experience, right? Is it that difficult to prove work experience for EB2 category of visas? Okay, I'd like to know. I understand that because of the status of Nigeria and because of the status of Nigeria in the Committee of Nations, it might be a bit difficult for certain organizations, all right? But is it that difficult across board to provide evidence of work experience? Because, I mean, if you check through any adults, all right, there is no way, I mean, you will always get people working immediately after they finish school. Most of us, I'm sure maybe over 80% of us here are people with huge experience in diverse disciplines. But the question is, again, is it that difficult to prove work experience when you are following up or pursuing EB2 visas? That's for Dr. Egwim. Thank you.
Thank you, Walty. Adiaga, please, can you go ahead and ask your question?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Well, my name is
evening.
Bao Adegboyega, not Adiaga, maybe because of the name I registered with. So sorry for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So sorry for that. So sorry for that, please. My question is actually in assertion towards this earlier speaker just said. As regard experience, I do have experience, but the only degree I have is the first degree. And aside from the first degree, I'm a fellow of an institute and an associate of another institute also. Do I have any possibilities of sailing through the EB2? Or there's no choice for me? Do I need to go through my master's first? Because the experience of the thing cannot be proved. I've been working in the financial industry for like 10 years, then recently moved to the council where I work now. And to prove my experience, I don't know how to go about that. And the only thing I have now is the first degree. Aside from the first degree, just a fellow of an institute and associate of a broker, just a broker also. So I don't know. Is there anything for me also? Thank you.
Thank you, Bao. I think before I hand over to Bola and Daniel to respond to these questions, something is key for us to note. This is a process. People, it is a process. If you have this dream, you need to start today. I tell you, my own dream started with me taking out a loan and going for a fellowship, right? My own dream started with me taking out a loan and going for an academic fellowship in one of the best universities and law school in Canada, because I needed to show that I have skill. So if you sit down after this conversation and you don't do anything, 5 years down the line, you will still be stuck where you are. Opportunities only answer to the people that are prepared. I've had people speak to me and you tell them, I had to write IELTS as a professor of law, right? I had to sit down and write IELTS. I called my wife, I said, listen, I have paid for IELTS for you. She was like, hey, what will I do? I said, well, it's your choice, right? So if you need to evaluate your transcript, some of you here, you have graduated from the university, you haven't even gone for your transcripts. And then you're in church, you're fasting, you're praying, you're hoping you're going to migrate. How is it going to happen? Right? You don't even have a passport. So these are basic things that you need to do for yourself. When I started my journey, I had to tell my wife, listen, you have to go and get your transcript. Oh, we gave somebody money. The person didn't answer. She graduated from Ambrose Ali University, Eboma. At one point, I called her one night. I said, hey, babe, are you sure you went to school? This transcript is not coming out. Oh yeah, pack your bag, take money, go and stay in a hotel. Don't come back until you get your transcripts, because we needed it to achieve a dream, right? So if you need to start doing a master's while you're following through this process, please do. If you need to write IELTS, people go for different forms of lessons. We didn't have to go for any lessons. We'll drop a link for you on YouTube. The time you spend watching TikTok, the time you spend watching all forms of comedy skills and candid cameras, you can spend it listening to IELTS English teachers on YouTube, practice for them, save up your money and go write your IELTS. For Canada, we have what is called WES, where you evaluate your certificates. If you need to apply for WES, you have to apply for it. You have to go to your university and go and get your transcript and get your certificates evaluated, waiting for these processes. So it's a journey, it's a process. So I hand over the floor to Bola and Daniel for responses, and then we take another set of questions.
All right, so guys, I would love to start by the first question. On the form, it's called the form I-140. Under this EB2, there are many categories. So there's advanced researcher, there's one with a first degree and 5 years of work experience. And of course, by the time you have an MSc or a PhD or an MBA, you now fall under the NIW EB2 waiver. The problem is this: how do you prove experience? One, through your pay slips, through your employment letters and co. But these things can be forged. Nigerians can do anything. So that's why it is easier to prove your case. Mind you, I don't work for the US government, but I can tell you what they might be thinking, in their head. For example, if you put my name on Google, I among in the whole world, I'm among the top 10%, in engineering in my area, in the whole world, So you can see me. I'm online. I'm visible. So how else? So that is my advantage, because I am very, very visible. So that's why I advise young people. For example, I met a banker. Her CV is very, very impressive, but I was like, where is your MBA thesis? And I was able to get her 2 papers on the peer review, because I don't want to go into a battle and lose. I want to be sure, because tomorrow they'll say, they gave me money, and no. I have a reputation, I have a family, I'm a world-renowned scholar. So I don't want to get involved in things that will bring me down. So I prepare people for, so if you contact me personally, I can tell you what can be done to increase your chances. I don't want to go into a battle and lose. But of course, if you want to try, it's fine. There's no harm in trying. If you want to try, then it's fine. But but it's better to have something that would make you more competitive in the pool. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your questions.
Bola? Is Bola here? I mean, like Daniel was saying, online, do you have a LinkedIn profile? What do you have
Exactly.
in your LinkedIn?
Are you visible? Yes. Are you
Yes.
visible?
You know, what do you post on your Facebook? Are you just going to Facebook posting irrelevant things? Those days, those are the places they go to check out about you. If you're in the universities, you're doing a master's or you're doing something, you have seminar papers, you have
Exactly.
research gates. Are you on research gates? So we have some of these experiences that we are going to communicate to people who are really interested in joining this process and working through this process together. Yeah, Bola, it's here now. So Bola, do you want to respond to some of these questions?
Yes, please. So the lady like just asked about the healthcare visa, which became very popular after the COVID pandemic. I've seen a lot of people coming through this route because during the COVID pandemic, there was a lot of eye opening, for the UK government to recruit more people into the healthcare sector. And they were so short of staff that they losing the bolts to bring people in from everywhere. Initially, there were some countries that were red listed. If you've had COVID for so long, or if you have Ebola before, or this or that, you're not allowed in. We got to state they lessen all the bolts, all the guards again. So a lot of people are coming in. Don't let me say everybody. A lot of people are coming in through this healthcare route because it's working. You must have seen one or two people that have come in. Like I said, the first time I spoke, I said, initially, before the COVID, it's only the nurses that had the opportunity to come in. Nobody recruits healthcare assistants from out of this country until after COVID. And since then, I can tell you a lot of people have come in, and they don't just come in, they come in with their families. So that's to tell you, the greener pasture covers everyone. And unlike the American counterpart, where you have to have a degree before you come in to come and do healthcare, to come and work as healthcare assistant or healthcare worker or support worker, you don't need to have a degree. It is good to have a degree. However, we have helped those who even don't have a degree to come in because they have other things to make up for the degree. Now, the system in the UK is the one that your experience can count towards your skill set. Instead of having a degree, they will say, well, because say for instance, you want to work with children, the fact that you are a mom give you one of the criteria that you have met because they know you can look after a child. We've had people who have a degree who have changed their career to come in here. We've had people who don't have a degree who only have school certs, and that has come in. There is a route that we will take you through to make you eligible, even if you don't have a degree. I'll give you one example. I have someone who was a sportsman from secondary school, started doing sports. So didn't finish uni, doesn't have any degree. However, when we started this journey with this person, the first thing we did was send them some course that they can do online. And they were compliant. They went for it. Now, instead of doing the English test, if you have a degree, you want to come and work in as a healthcare worker, you can do something called NARIC. And that's another process that you get your transcript and send to the home office, the consular of whatever your country you are. And they will do it for you a little bit more expensive than the English test, but then you don't have to do the English test. So one of the criteria you need to have to come in and work as a healthcare assistant or healthcare worker with your family as well. Is one, you must have a British passport, your international passport. Two, it's either you have a NARIC. NARIC is the process of doing your English proficiency. If you have a degree, then you go to your university to get a transcript, get all those sent to the consular, and they will process it for you. You pay some money, over 100,000. But if you have to do the English test, it's close to the same amount. But you don't have to do the English lessons if you have to do that. If you don't have a degree and you want to come in to work as healthcare worker in the UK, you can then do English test. I've seen people who have gone through it. A lot of people have gone through it and they passed, because the level they're looking for in your English test, in your IELTS test, is your English speaking, reading, listening, and writing. Those are the 4 language skills that they're testing you on to come in and work in the UK. However, if you are a nurse, like I said before the pandemic, if you are a nurse, I think you must have about 7.5 in this 4. But if you're coming to work as a healthcare worker, support worker, you can only have between 4 to 6. So the level is brought down. So even those who don't go to school, have not been in school, have attended lectures, and they passed within that level and have come in and they can communicate. Because when you get here, you pick it up from where you stopped. So it's not only for those who have a degree, it's also for those who are willing to learn, to do the English test. If you don't have a degree and you can do the English test, or if you already have a degree, whatever you have studied, go and get your transcript, process your NARIC. It stands in instead of the English test. And there are other things you need to do. There are some care courses that are online. Some of them are free. In fact, most of them are free. We send you the link, you do all your courses, we engage you in all the things that you will need as your skill set. And there is also facility to help you do your CV to the standard of the employer in the UK. But that attracts a cost, but not something that will break a bank. It's something that will put you in a more competitive advantage to get that job. And we know employers who are recruiting. We know the agencies who are recruiting, who need staff, who will give us information. We need 10 staff within so amount of date. And then we put you in a kind of a WhatsApp group for everybody to be looking for the requirements and meet them. And some of them attract some cost, which we will also carry you along and say, you know what, to get this, you need to pay for this. Not every employer wants to pay for COS. Some of them will ask you to pay for it. Some of them will ask you to pay for some courses that you will do. It's just sacrifice. And the English test, you can, if you're coming in to work in the UK as a support worker, as healthcare worker, you must have the English test. If you don't have the English test, you must have the NARIC. Both of them are equivalent of each other. NARIC is for those who have done a degree. IELTS is for those who have not done a degree. You can actually do both as well if you are in a hurry. If you think your school, because I used to have a friend who I asked to go and get some degree transcript. I mean, they finished uni now, like 25 years ago, and they never had the transcript. And they told me there's kidnapper on the way. I said, you don't know what you're saying because you don't want to come here. When the kidnappers are gone, then you can go and get your results. But this person actually now choose to do the English test instead of getting there. I said, one day you will still need that transcript. So it's good to get it. But if you can't get it, if you can do your English test on time, do it. Once you pass within the levels, because at the end of the day as well, the British government keep changing their rules. In the past, shortly before now, what was booming before tier 2 visa, which is the skilled worker visa, was tier 4 students. If you come in to study in the UK as a student, you can bring your family. But now they are lessening the rules. Now I think it's when you are doing your PhD. They are putting one or two things, even though they're making money from it, they are making it look like when a lot of people come into the country now, they don't have houses to stay. They don't, and there are also some people, if you choose to go and do your tier 2 visa through an agent who does not have work in the UK, I'll tell you what is going on now. Some people will pay so much money, as much as £12,000. They will sell their houses and cars and whatever and come in and pay that lump sum into an agent, and they come to the UK and they don't have shift. They don't have any work to give them. Because before they left, they were ill-informed. However, if you work with us, we work with direct employers who will get you a job and will not spend so much money. So we're here. If you want to change your career, if you want to start a new one, like I did, I used to be an accountant. Well, I came to this country, I became a nurse, and I upgraded as well to become a specialist. So the sky is the limit as to what you can achieve. With the little you come in with, as to what you can achieve in this country, there is a lot of opportunities. There is a lot of green pasture. But the beginning might be a big shake, a bit rough, because you need to make sacrifices. But once you get here, and speaking of those who came through other agents as well, and they get here, they were stranded. Some were deported because they spent so much money. And there was a story that was going on around a couple of weeks ago. An agent charged somebody £12,000, and when they got here, there was no work. And these people went to the Home Office to complain about the employer that brought, by the agents that brought them here. The first thing the Home Office did was to shut that agency down. However, what the Home Office did to the person that reported was deport them, their families, back home. After spending all the money and after selling all the houses, there's nowhere to go back to. But they were deported because they paid so much money to come here, which they shouldn't be paying. So there is also checks and balances as to who you're using, how reliable are they, and have they really got the job, or they just want to get their money and get to here to be stranded. So I would just implore that if after this conversation tonight, whoever you choose to go with, because after this information, other people in your social network might want to advise you. They know this person, they know that person. How reliable? So I'm not saying people are not reliable, some are, but unfortunately, we've seen a lot of people who have come in and have come in to be stranded, which you don't want to be one of them. Because at the end of the day, you want to come here, you want to be happy with your family, you want to carry on working, and your partner can also work. So it's a lot of experience and a lot of advantages to come in on that route. Some people are also coming in as teachers now, IT workers. If you can do your certification, MCSG, MCSE, database administrator, and things like that, Scrum Master, project management, they're all, if you go online, you can search tier 2 visa UK, tier two jobs in the UK, and see and match the skills to what you think you have. Then you can start from where you are to where you're going. Without taking much of our time, I hope I've been able to clear some of the other questions that other people might have in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. So I will be giving Jumoke the floor to speak, but quickly I will just mention that what we are having today, with the platform of Golden Mavisfat Academy, they run some of these healthcare courses online on their platform. I see Ambassador Fatoba is here, and I see one of the other guys also here, Olumide Falusi. At some point, they will share the link to that platform. If you want to join that platform, you can join that platform and get some of these trainings and exposures with certified certificates free. Like we said, this is a journey. You have to start preparing. Somebody asked, I see Oji asked about migration to Canada. I'm sure Jumoke with her hand up is going also to speak a bit on Canada, because she's also an expert on Canada. Jumoke, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Professor Azubike. Okay, so with Canada, the law in Canada is not static. It changes, just like the UK law, like the last speaker said. And coming to Canada, you really don't need you don't need like a master's. You don't need a degree. There are over 60 ways to migrate to Canada. Starting from master's, of course, PhD, and up to the level of even caregiver. And you don't even need a degree to migrate to Canada in that regard. During COVID, my office, we brought in 50 caregivers, both from Nigeria, India, and Bangladesh. We had 2 batches that came, and they were all low-skill workers. So to come to Canada, Canada is it's not a one-size-fits-all. There are over 60 ways, like I say. So when you talk to us, we can tell you, okay, this program suits you and your family. And the good thing about coming to Canada is that you can come in with your spouse, and then your spouse will get open work permits, which allow them to work in any field, and they can gather up the hours that is needed for them to file the PR within 2 years or even 1 year. So with us, Canada, you can always talk to us at any level you are in life. We can tailor a program that suits you. Like the last speaker said, we also have to make your resume to the Canadian standard, and we can even get you an employer. We don't always promise getting an employer outside Canada 100%. It's not that easy compared to that of London, because the Canadians are a little bit reserved. So if you're coming to work for them, they will tend to have some kind of reservations, especially coming from Nigeria. But however, there are some areas that we can get your employers, e.g., truck driving, caregivers. These places, the requirement is a little bit achievable when you're coming from outside Canada compared to other fields. What the most popular way that we almost everybody know in Nigeria is the express entry. Right now, the express entry is a little bit, the point has been increased up to 500. Even when the point was 400, it wasn't a lot of people that were meeting up with the 400 points. So now that it's 500, it's going to be a little bit hard. And that doesn't mean that you cannot get nominated by the provinces. Yeah, you can, but then the procedure is a little bit time consuming. However, if you speak with us, we'll be able to tell you which program is suitable for you. And so that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jumoke, for that. I'll tell us a story. I used to have a friend whom presently I have kind of distanced myself from him. Drives very well. And how do you help me? I need to join this train. And I looked at him. I said, guy, you drive very well. When you drive me, I can go to sleep knowing that you're next to God in driving. I said, go and get a driving license for truck driving. I don't know where they get it. Go and get a driving license for truck driving. And then one day, opportunities came up for truck drivers. And I asked him, I said, have you got your license? He said, no. I spoke to my friend. He's the one that got the license. So if you're here and you can drive, go to the road safety office, ask for how to get a truck driver's license. I know somebody who is busy at this time writing French certification, spending money, going to Alliance Française, doing French certifications and planning on these things. It's a step, it's a process. And again, I retreat the caveat because the people I have brought on this platform are persons of honor and integrity. Nobody is here to fleet you of your money. This process will cost you some money. Definitely, it will cost you some money. But you're dealing with honest people that would only charge you fair fees for the provisions of information and guidance that they provide for you. They are not persons of mean fees. Daniel George told you, Daniel was my flatmate in Pretoria while he was studying for his PhD mechanical engineering. I was studying for my PhD law. So I have known him for years. I have known Bola for years, since 1997, and I have known Jumoke since 2003. And I told you, if you're looking for Jumoke's success story, I am her success story, right? So if you're looking, if Jumoke is telling you that they have processed for 50 people and you're wondering, is she saying the truth? Please don't look far. The person speaking to you is Jumoke's success story. Ambassador Fatoba is here doing great with Golden Mavisfat Academy, providing some of these trainings that Bola had told us about. I know that very recently they finished running a course on hotel management. These are courses that you think you don't need, but you need them to get these certifications. You need these certificates. Daniel told us about how to prove our job experiences. So you need these certifications. Golden Mavisfat, they run courses on healthcare facilitations. They run several courses on volunteering and all of that. These are social skills. These are soft skills that you need to be able to say that this is the quality I bring. Nobody wants to bring you to Canada. Nobody wants to bring you anywhere just for you. You don't pick money on the streets of any of these countries, right? You don't pick money from the streets. But when you have these skills and you get into the system, you are able to fit in. So what we are providing this evening is a general information, and we are happy and ready. Ambassador Fodaba will be dropping our email address in the chat box. If you want to go on this journey with us, send an email. Tell us briefly about yourself in not very long terms, and then we are going to get back to you and give you further details, appraise you, and you have the opportunity of working with this team to package your migration process. But again, I sound the warning. We do not issue visas. We only show you a path that will lead you to at least 80% success of having your visas approved. Again, if you're here and you have graduated from the university, you do not have your transcript. I'm sorry, the first thing you need to do is go get a transcript. Stay out of trouble. When I was in my process, I'm someone that has traveled so much here and there. And it was in that process I knew it was not easy visiting several countries, because I had to provide a clean slate police report from each of the countries I have spent time in. Okay? So if you're doing anything today and you think you can just go to the police and do anything and commit one thing, if somebody is going to report you to the police station today, please beg the person, don't take me there. Because even the Nigerian police is now digitalizing its criminal records. Once your record is dented, please, there is nothing we can do for you. And we are not going to help you package lies. We are not going to help you package the things that are not there. We can only help you to package what is there, right? So you need to begin to do all of this. You need to begin to put yourself, if you don't know where your certificate is. Some persons here have graduated from schools. You've not gone to collect your certificates. You've not gone to collect your certificates. There is nothing we can do for you. You need it. If you have to go learn vulcanizing, please go. Find a place where you can get certified for it to show that you have this skill. We have civic centers in some of the states, Lagos, I know. Hairdressing, some of these things are the things you need to, some of these things are the things you need to pick up to be able to prove the skills you have. So we are going to take our last set of questions before we call it a day for today. We have kept you since 7 p.m. and we thank you. So if you want to ask, I will take 3 more questions in closing. You can raise your hands. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. I see the person, Bison, is she trying to speak to us? But oh, okay, yeah, that's my wife. Okay, she's here. Babe, can you unmute? Can you connect your camera? Yeah, that's my lovely daughter. And when I look at them, I smile as a proud father because I have succeeded to give my children and my family. Hi, Muna.
Hi, Daddy. I'm missing
How
you.
are you?
I'm
I
fine.
miss you too. Yes, how are you?
I'm fine. I want you to come
Yeah.
back. Me, all of us went to Michelle's house and us have a sleepover.
Okay. Okay. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. So this is part of our success story. Yeah. Babe, are you just coming from work?
No, I was in a class. I just finished the class, about to leave for work in the next 30 minutes.
Okay. So, friends, I'm sharing these stories for you to see that we know what we are saying. My wife works with the BGC company. It's an after-school company. She was a primary school teacher here before she left, and she's doing great. Already, she's picking up certain certifications within the system. And again, like was pointed out, friends, you don't, abroad, it's a leveler, okay? Forget who you are. If you're in this dream, if you're in this package, when you get, you have to humble yourself and then you can rise again. I have colleagues that have said, oh no, I can't go, I can't start afresh, I can't do this, I can't do that. But I tell you, it is worth it, even if it's not for you. Like for me, I'm here, but at least I've given my family a path and they are on it. It didn't come cheap. So I'll take questions from Ugo and Smith, and then we'll close for the day.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is
Good evening.
Ugoji. Yes, I've listened to you carefully, but I understand you are Professor Azubike, right? Okay, and you're based in Canada. So I wrote a question that I wanted to get more enlightened or more, that I needed you to throw more light on the Canada immigration, or what are the things one should get himself ready with before coming to you guys. I want to know the necessary things one should get himself ready with. So before we come to you for consultation and other processes. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll take the question from Smith and Olufemi, and then we'll respond.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, we can hear you, Smith.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for the class. I would say the class is timely. My question is this: when you talk about health workers or healthcare workers, are anatomists and physiologists inclusive?
Okay, thank you for that question. Olufemi, can we have your question? Olufemi, can you unmute? If you're speaking, we can't hear you. Admin, can you unmute? Can you unmute Olufemi? I think he's finding it difficult. Okay, yeah.
Okay, done, sir. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
To be part of this program this evening. Unfortunately, we are one. When I say we are one, this phase, I know this phase when I was still in Norfolk, but don't let me go through that one now. My younger sister, she's based in US, she sent me the link. I just got back from work this evening. So she sent me the link. I said, okay, let me quickly join. Though it's already late. I don't know much about what you're discussing, but my question is, actually, I study computer science. I'm working with a company here in Lagos. we're a maritime company. So I want to ask, which other means, if I'm willing, I have intention to relocate to either Canada, UK, US, but what do you think, or what kind of job that will suit me, probably, or if I'm planning and I'm already on ground, if there's any other direction I can go to for me to relocate to that country?
Okay. Thank you for that. Nice. So you see what I was saying. If while I was at offer, I wasn't a good person, then there would have been problems, right? Yeah, but that's fine. So I'll start from Ugo. So we have dropped the email in the chat box. You can pick up the email and send us an email. Like we said, Jumoke already told us that your story is different from Olufemi's story. And Olufemi's story is different from Smith's story. We all have different stories. So when you contact us via the email, we are now going to devote our time. You know, I'm a lawyer in Nigeria, and I tell people it's in Nigeria that people call you and say, hey, please, can you help me draft one small agreement? And I look at it and say, what is a small agreement? Each time you call a lawyer abroad, once the lawyer picks his phone, he bills you for the minute, he bills you for the hour. And this was what was happening before we decided to put this together, because people were really on this case and engaging you for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, asking the same questions. And you tell people, go and verify your certificates. And then they look at you as if you're saying rubbish. So go. The first thing is you have certificates. You need to verify your certificates, because you're going to use them. If you don't want to use your certificates, is that something else? Then we can look at a different route for you. But if you've got certificates, those certificates have to be verified. You don't need me to verify your certificates. I don't have a hand in your verification. I can tell you, admin, please put in the chat box, drop the link there, WES or iClass. These are entities that verify certificates for both US and Canada and globally. You have to go to that website, you have to create an account, you have to pay the fee. Then you have to go to your university and you have to get your transcript and your certificate sent to them. And then they verify you that you actually went to school. Interestingly, like we said, our country is a very wonderful country. So we need to pass through these processes. At some point, they were verifying WAEC. They would ask people to send scratch cards to know if people, we have some people that don't know whether they went to school or where they went to school and all of that. So these verification processes take a toll. You need to verify your certificates, right, Ugo? So you do that, then we are talking. We know we have a platform on which we can help you. Smith, an anatomist, I will allow Bola speak to that, but I tell you that even with your anatomy degree, you are a better seller than even a medical doctor. Yeah? We rush some of the courses, we rush here. My daughter was hoping to study law here, but after close to a session in Canada, she told me the other day, she said, look, I now want to be a physiotherapist. And you're wondering, but these are skills. These are these are the things we overlook. So yes, for you as an anatomy expert, you've got a chance. For Olufemi, you just heard Bola talk about certifications in IT. If you're a computer scientist, do you have certifications? Cloud engineer, whatever, all of those cloud, some of those certifications are free. And again, I refer you to Golden Murphy's Academy that we are partnering with today. They provide some of these trainings. So when you come back from work and you have 1 hour, You can go online and chase certifications. You need it. If you go to LinkedIn, if you sign up to LinkedIn Professional, Microsoft certification, there are basic data science certifications that fly around. We are no longer kids, so we shouldn't spend our time watching TikTok and WhatsApping and doing a whole lot of things. We should actually be picking up skills that would help us. And remember, like what I said, my own journey took me about 4 years, 5 years, thereabouts. But I started preparing. I started building blocks. I started putting block upon block and getting myself ready. So I don't know where you are today, but if this is a dream you have, you need to start now. What do I need to do? Okay. So Daniel, do you want to respond to any of these questions?
Hello, can I chip in something, sir?
No.
Okay, who is speaking?
This is Ugoji.
Okay, Ugoji,
something I
please
needed
go ahead.
Okay, I didn't talk about my discipline. So I wanted to know also, I'm a geologist and I'm a petrophysicist by training. So, and by the grace of God, I've also, I'm part of this community. I've gotten like 4 certificates here already. I did hotel management, I did the digital, the conflict resolution, and the volunteering. So all these are, it's a bit unfortunate that I started this late, but it's never too late. So I'm happy I've made progress here. I'm happy I've made some achievement. I am part of this community. I am grateful to you people for this free knowledge. I call it free knowledge you're sharing. And I call this also real capital, human capital development. So I wish a lot of Nigerians to anchor on this opportunity and get experience and exposed. I think the illiteracy level in Nigeria will be low, and the way we handle and do things also will be better. So I will need a proper guidance, like I said, based on what I've told you, I've been able to achieve certificate-wise, and I'm over 18 years experience in oil and gas training. So, but I don't know if I'm 50 years now. I hope it will not be a challenge for what I'm planning.
All right, thank
you, sir.
Thank you. So in closing, I see 876. I see your hand is up. Please, can you just unmute yourself, and then we close in the next 5 minutes. Eight seven six. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yes, my name is Carlo Vitalis, and I'm the facilitator of a Vital Solutions Network Academy. So actually, the last speaker was in my class, or is in my class, and we just concluded some programs now. So it is, I've gotten so many experience through Golden Mabifa's Academy, and she has been the one that groomed and brought up the academy I'm nursing now. So I'm happy to be in this platform to have this conversation. So Divu are doing a good job, and she has brought light to so many of us. So credit to her.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that testimony. IBK. We're closing in 4 minutes.
So we'd like to go on.
Yeah. IBK, I see your hand. Do you want to say something? If not, Daniel,
Yes,
can you
hello.
give us
Hello, sir.
Okay. Yes,
So I wanted
please.
to ask Mrs. Bola that was talking about the UK healthcare visa, like how much is it going to cost? How do I get in contact with that person?
Okay, so thank you. We dropped an email. Admin, please, can you drop the email again? Can you drop the email? Send an email to that email, and then we open up case files. Yeah, the email. Admin, please, can you drop the email again? We'll open a case file for everyone who is interested. Daniel, do you want to give us your parting words?
Please, if this program is recorded, I would like to have the link.
It's okay. Bola, are you here? Your parting words? Okay, yeah. So it's been an interesting 2 hours, and we hope that when we have this general conversation again, we are going to be having several people sharing their testimonies. We look forward to reading from you, reading your emails from you. Come prepared. I recognize again Pastor Sam Udoku, who used to be the former president of my class. Pastor Sam, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Bola, were you saying something?
Yeah, I was just saying, for those who are willing and obedient and compliant with all these little instructions, it pays a lot. So don't just sit on information before it gets too late to act on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bola. Yeah, let's call it a day. See you. We hope to get your emails. We hope to get your expression of interest for us to walk you through this. From myself, from Daniel, from Bola, from Funke, from Jumoke, we say thank you and see you some other time. Bye-bye.